going to get lunch in a little bit, and I know that's pretty good, and you'll probably enjoy that. And when you eat your lunch, you're building up towards that 2,400 calories that drives you and lets you do all the wonderful things you do. But that lunch may have been refrigerated, it may have been cooked, it certainly was trucked here, it was grown in a farm field that was plowed by a tractor and fertilized with other things. And all that takes energy. Something's got to heat it, something's got to cool it, something's got to plow it, you don't have to do it. You don't spend your life hoeing. None of you spend your lives hoeing. Your energy use, you eat 2,400 calories, you use 240,000 calories. You've got 100 people's worth of energy at your bidding, doing whatever you say. Light, heat, blow, cool, whatever you want. It's out there, and it's a wonderful thing. We love this, okay? It's really nice for us. People that don't have that are not as happy as you are. This is a reasonably ugly and wonderful picture at the same time up here. This is from right out next to Mesa Verde down in Arizona. And 800 years ago to 1,300 years ago, there's two curves up there over my head. The blue one is how much it rained, and the orange one is how many people lived there. And what you'll notice is over here at the end, when the rains went away, so did the people. Now, these were smart people. They were really smart people. They did things that you would not have any idea how to do. But they didn't have the ability to ship in food from Australia when the crop failed. They didn't have the ability to drill a well way down and pump the water up because they didn't have our energy. And when the crop failed, they either left or they died, and that's all they could do. And there really are a lot of people in the world today that's true about. When the rains fail, they don't have the money, they don't have the energy, they can't do what you can, and they die. We get this energy in a lot of places. We used to do it in a bunch of ways. I come from Pennsylvania, Penn's Woods. The first thing the European settlers did when they got to Penn's Woods was to cut all the trees. And we turned it from the great Penn's Woods into the great Pennsylvania desert. Now, if you ever tried to read on a dark night by burning trees, it's hard to do. So what did our ancestors do? They burned whales. They took large quantities of money and they shipped it to New England, and they said, go out in the ocean and mine the ocean for whales so we can burn them at night so we can see. And this is the history of whale oil production. This is peak whale oil right here, about 1850 or so, okay? The ocean started running out of whales. There weren't enough whales out there to burn so people could see in the dark. And what did they do? They drilled an oil well. The first modern oil well there. And now what do? We burn fossil algae and we burn dead trees that have been fossilized rather than burning whales and trees. And we have whales and trees because we're burning dead algae. Almost all of our energy comes from burning long dead things, oil and coal and natural gas, okay? And we're spending lots of money on it. Last year we shipped about $2,000 a piece overseas to buy oil, just oil. It's $2,000 for you, and it's $2,000 for you, and it's $2,000 for you. You know, and that $2,000 is too much for a lot of people to afford. There's a real problem with this, is that it's going to end, okay? There's only so much fossil algae in the ground. And the oil companies are really smart. They know how to find it. They're getting it out there, okay? But there's a lot of things. If we wanted to dig up West Virginia, there's a lot of coal underneath there. If you want to dig up large chunks of Colorado, there's a lot of oil shale out there. It's going to be hard to get. It's going to be expensive, but you might be able to get enough of it to keep going that way. And so the question was, do we go dig up everything we can burn and burn it, and then try to find something that'll work for the long term, or should we work to find something that works now? And the United Nations, the governments of the world said, look, we need advice. Do we burn and then learn, or do we learn first? And so they went to the scientists of the world and they said, give us advice. And that's exactly what the IPCC is. It is the scientists of the world, not of the U.S., not of just Norway, and Norway and the U.S. are both in it. It is the scientists of the world acting in front of the public, for the public, to provide advice to the governments on how hard we should work to learn how to get energy for the people of the world, and whether we should go ahead and burn a whole lot of things first or not. We are burning fossil fuels. It helps us in many ways, but it is changing the climate. That is affecting us, and it's affecting other things on the world. So far, the change we've made is really small. It is scientifically unequivocal, but it hasn't really changed your life a lot yet. It's changed the lives of poor people in hot places, but not yours too much. If we dig up West Virginia, if we burn all the coal, we will change everybody's lives. And we will make almost all of those changes for the worse. But there really are ways that you can beat this. There really are ways to get that sun to power the world. There really are lots of ways to get energy, and finding them ends up being cheaper than ignoring this and just going on and burning everything. The challenge, the interesting thing, is to find those answers. We're going to have to be smarter. If you want to keep people happy, healthy, and terrific, if you want to feed them, if you want them not to die when the rains fail, they're going to need energy. And if we find ways of getting the energy that aren't just digging up and burning West Virginia, we really can get rich and save the world. And if we don't, your kids and your grandkids and their grandkids are going to look back and say, what was wrong with you? And that is what the IPCC was honored for, is to bring peace, is to show the governments of the world how they can promote smart people inventing new things that work. You are the smart people. You have to stay with it. This is going to be math, it's science, it's going to be English, it's going to be history, it's going to be getting along with people. If you stay with it, we will be peaceful.